And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
This global A&R chief is here to crack the record company code. You don't want to miss that. Special presentation from our friends in India. The Pensado Indaba Mix Contest is absolutely banging. Brand new ITLs, but next week, Dave is shooting them now. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place. Very good. Very good.
Hey guys, thanks for dropping by. We've got a great show for you today. One of my dear friends is here, and I can't wait for you to meet him.
He's a friend of mine, too.
No, he's not. I talked to him earlier.
Oh, cool. He doesn't like that.
So we stick together, us Floridians, you know.
You do.
Have you noticed there's a lot more people here from Miami than you ever knew?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm serious. I'm being serious.
And they're splitting time between here and LA, between LA and Miami,
Yeah,
which is
it's
kind of
kinda
cool. Yeah, it's similar weather, cool people.
Do you think anybody cares?
Making music, probably not.
No, probably not.
And we can edit this.
Okay.
Shall we get on with the
I
meeting?
want my edit to be quick.
Okay, like old
jerky.
days.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I got it. A jump cut.
Yeah,
okay,
jump
cool.
cut.
All right, shall we go ahead?
Let's do it.
Thank you for your permission.
You're welcome, my friend.
Okay, good. Hey, gang, back for our weekly hang. Tip of the cap for your likes and subscribes. We thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
To our incredible partners, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, DTS, Lander, Fab Factory, Recording Connection, and Studio 202 DC. Much love as well. Ron. The Pensado Indaba contest is on and popping. You know the Master Blaster sitting right here, licking his chops to get hold of your mixes. You guys have been flooding the zone, which we like. Prove him wrong, send in fire, and then win some stuff. The track is called Free, the group is called Body Language, and you can become a winner. What do you do to win? Well, first of all, look at this great list of prizes from a bunch of our friends. Tascam, Isotope, IK Multimedia, Audionamics, Indaba, and so much more. Quick note. For all you songwriter, producers, EDM guys, this Track Factory thing is an absolute beautiful piece from Tascam. Really, you literally can get from in your head creatively to record so easily. You don't necessarily have to learn a complete DAW and all that kind of stuff. So you want to get this. And of course, Isotope stuff is amazing. The iLoud micro monitors.
Oh, those babies.
These babies bang.
Just did.
Right, literally bang. You can fix everything with Audionamics and so much more. So take your shot. You still have time. Go to the URL you see below me. Enter and win, correct? Mm-hmm. You can't wait to get hold of it?
You know, last year I entered myself, and I judged the contest, and I still lost. So this year I'm going to try a little harder.
Now, what you don't know is we have bots, and we caught your entry.
I know.
We got rid of it. We actually changed the mix on it, so it sucked.
317 million episodes. I haven't won shit yet. Yeah, well, I'm going to win something one of these days.
Sorry, you know.
Damn.
Like, you can't enter, man. Sorry.
So sad.
I know. Do you feel bad?
No.
I didn't think you did. Let's meet the healthy, hairy Hungarian who loves hookah and hand rolls. His mama named him
There's no Tom Fills this time.
So you just have to stop pointing out the production and just enjoy and bask in the glow.
Well, his mom played
No, don't do that. That kind of makes you like
his mom played the
asshole.
timpani. He's proud of that.
His mother played the timpani?
She played the timpani.
She's very talented.
Yes, very talented.
So you had your first speaking engagement at UCLA?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Got invited.
Now, wait. Now, you didn't tell me. We were together, and he said, I got to leave. I'm going to UCLA. And I didn't even dawn on me. What's he going to UCLA for?
He's moonlighting.
And then later there's posts of him being erudite. So how was that, your first experience?
It was such a good experience. Shout out to Bobby Borg and the whole class for having me down. It was such a good time.
What kind of class was it?
Music marketing class. So all music industry guys, people coming up. So it was.
Did you call Talisha to get advice on how to talk about music marketing?
No, but he somebody told me he said he was with Chongor's place.
Oh, that's not surprising.
I promise I wasn't.
I got you. So it went well?
It went really well. It was really cool. I had a blast.
Because you've been at a lot of them where you see Dave and I.
Yeah, I see you guys speak, but
did you borrow church from us?
Yeah, I did.
There's nothing original here. Right? So Chongor, you're an invertebrate traveler.
I love it.
I've traveled with you a bunch, and you time to lose your mind and go into zombie zone when you travel. One day Chongor was taking a picture at the airport, and I snuck up behind him and snatched his phone. closest thing I've ever seen him come to tears.
He takes great travel photos, though.
You should see when we're taking off and landing. It's just like a travel log.
Gotta do it.
So like when you go to Japan, there's all kinds of, one of the things we're going to be working on is getting fascinating stories out of other countries. So you've been to Japan, do that. In a minute, we're going to meet our friends from India. That's full of...
I can't wait to see all the stories we get out of that.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. So we'll introduce that in a second. So stay tuned. Can't go for like a year.
I'll be here. I'll wait.
Don't move. And then you and Chongo are going into the lab to shoot a bunch of ITLs, correct?
Yeah. Been saving up quite a few good ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a couple of, most of the new ones from here on out are going to be slightly different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a new, and I think you're talking about doing some with other people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but also too, I'm on the web every second just about looking at other people's versions of Into the Layers because I like to learn.
Is that why the mixes are going slower? Because you're on the web.
No.
No.
And I notice I'm not really happy when they take too long to get to the subject, so we're going straight in. No hello, no how are you? It's straight to the meat.
Get to the meat, get out.
I think I'm gonna like that.
Got it.
Hope you do too. Let me know.
I will. Let's introduce a special friend of ours. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. You're going to meet a great friend of ours from India. We've known this guy for a while. Yeah. He's a very talented artist. He's the owner of Beat Factory. They're in New Delhi and in Mumbai. A great entrepreneur, a software maker, and he has a special presentation for us. Come on up, Gaurav Dayal. Welcome. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You're bringing a bag.
We've got something since I've just come from my home country. So can't come empty-handed.
Did you bring food?
Well, that was my second choice in case this doesn't work.
Okay.
So
let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is for you and for Dave.
Should we get this out?
Whatever it is, I want the blue one.
Okay. Oh, wow. This is serious.
I don't know what it is.
Look at this, man.
Oh, gold award.
Hold up.
What is that?
Well, it's usually we have a ceremony for this, but it's a title that your Indian audience wanted to give you.
What title would that be?
You've been given a title of Maharajas of the Mix.
Oh, the Maharajas of the Mix.
Yes, Maharaja basically means the king of kings.
Backwards. It's not a baseball cap.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so it goes like this.
It's got straight. Yeah, that part is in the front.
Oh,
That's
man.
perfect.
Oh, I'm rocking this.
You got it.
Dave, put it on your head.
I got a big head.
Push it down.
It's perfect. It looks good.
You can push.
I told you.
You do have a big head.
I do.
Oh, this is very fly. Can I wear this out and not be insulting anybody?
No, not at all. Absolutely. That's what it's for.
What up, homie?
Peace.
So the Maharajas of the Mix. Tell us about India, the audio scene there. We're so flattered that they even watch the show. Does anybody care about our show at all? There?
Are you kidding me? I mean, they sent you a title. The thing is, India's industry is really growing, and if you can see, the Indian music and the Indian film music has come across the world and is now being used also elements into American pop music. So Indians, at least the audio community that we're connected with, watches this show every time, each time, and they learn a lot. And this is their only access, to Hollywood, to all the greats that they follow, much like myself. And having all of this in one show, having all of this information, plus the ITL, it's just amazing. So, for us, it's like a huge pool of knowledge, coming straight from the best of the best.
I don't know about that. But,
look at this hat and say that.
Best of the best, Maharajas.
It was also comfortable.
Let me have that one. It's bigger.
No, I'm locked. This is size for my head.
It fits your personality.
Oh, thank you very much.
See, so
I'm not sure what that means. But.
So for our audience, I've got them to wear it. So I think I've done the job.
You have. So tell us a little bit about your schools, the software you're doing, your approach. I mean, one of the things, and also we're supposed to be going to India next year, correct?
We are definitely going.
To explain how that's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. India has a huge show called the Palm Expo, which is the #1 broadcast and audio show. And, we have a huge 3-day session going on there, and we're bringing Dave and Herb finally to the show, and there'll be a lot of presentations, there will be interviews, there will be some lectures and some book signing, and more than that, we'll also have a workshop where you guys can come and attend and know more about audio personally from the guys, and hopefully shoot an episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the bad news, which he doesn't know yet, is Chongwer can't go.
Oh, why?
I know why. Because we get better seats on the plane. Go. No, we'll take you, bro.
I'm going.
We're gonna take the team. Chongwer will be in the hold with the luggage going in a bag.
Yes, sir.
The schools that you have.
Absolutely. This is our 9th year with Beat Factory Academy. So we're running these schools for 9 years, training young audio professionals in India in diverse field of audio, from right from producing records to mixing records. Also for the live scene, for the live audio engineering requirements in India. We've been fortunate that many of our students have done really well. Some of them have become international pop stars like Sartek and Kirano, who've become international top-selling DJ producers. Who've come from our school. So I think it's been the only proper source of education for audio in India. And we try to bring as much as we can, try to keep updated. And of course, our connection with Pensado's Place is invaluable. I think the biggest thing we'll do next year in our 10th year, we'll be bringing Pensado's Place to India.
I want to
for our anniversary.
It'll
be
so amazing.
Thank you, sir.
The thing that I've learned from you is that the Indian music scene goes much beyond Bollywood. There's Bollywood and there's other. Yes. Correct, and there might be as many people in other as there in Bollywood. Correct, like that's the aspirational
Absolutely.
place.
Bollywood basically means film-based music. So film music definitely has the the biggest reach because they're part of a huge budget film, and those songs get a lot of publicity. But on the other side is the thriving independent scene. I think YouTube has done that globally, and India is no exception. So with that, a lot of people are starting from home and getting smaller setups, and that's where all of this information comes into play. Our courses, stuff they get from Pensado's Place. So this educates them, to bring out their careers on their own without the need for a bigger body to promote them. And such artists have come out, have developed, and now what's been happening in Hollywood is happening in India, is that people are using independent records to place in films. And once the record gets popular, then they put it in a movie and gets even more reach. So the industry is growing tremendously.
Wow. Well, needless to say, it's amazing, right?
It's unbelievable. I'm sitting here like in awe. It wasn't that long ago where about 6 people knew me in Atlanta.
Right.
And I didn't like them.
Exactly.
No, this is incredible.
We are honored for
really.
our fans, wherever they are, to watch us and to think that we're, giving a service that has value. We're going to keep going. That's why we talk about our sponsors each week. I mean, it's amazing that. And a shout out to Gaurav, who is as talented and as committed an entrepreneur. I will tell you, for those folks in India who are watching, the way he represents the culture, the music, and audio
Good point.
here in the U.S., you could not have a better advocate. He cares passionately. He's made us care. We're coming to see you. Come hang. We're going to get on the elevator. We're going to do whatever culturally that Gaurav tells us to do, we're going to do. But we're going to spend a bunch of time with you. We're a big fan. Your software is incredible. Your brain is incredible. You're a Pensadian forever.
I am.
And this is just fly. As a matter of fact, I feel like if you want to be cute, you just throw that around. Ooh,
Sexy.
Sexy. That's
Sexy
right?
chocolate.
Sexy chocolate. Rob, thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for
Our
having me.
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. He's a vice president, global creative chief for Warner Music. From Flo Rida to Jason Derulo, David Guetta, and a whole bunch of stuff. You've heard or felt his touch and vision. He's a good friend of ours. Welcome to the place, Aton Ben-Horin. Hey, man.
Thanks for having me.
How are you, bro?
Thanks for having me.
What's up,
Good
buddy?
to see you, man.
Dave's the man. Dave's the man.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
That pathway from playing in a group that had the name of something Tangerine, what was it, like Triple Tangerine or something?
High school, yeah. Atomic Tangerine High School, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in high school.
And it was a good
In
band,
Miami?
Herb.
In Miami,
In
yep.
Miami.
North Miami.
Gotcha. And then, so music clearly part of your soul early, right? You were going to find your path one way or the other. And was the gestation period and sort of launching pad Miami? Is that where it
Yes.
came out of?
Yes,
Because you went from that into studio. Tell us about
I mean,
it.
before I was even in the band, I was in, actually, believe it or not, the school choir.
Me too.
So I got a
by
head
the way.
start on harmonies early on.
Me too.
Oh, that's so
I had
cool.
That actually
scholarships
helped.
actually for singing. But that's another
I
story.
need to take notes from you.
Okay, cool. No, you're doing okay.
Those vocal lessons.
You're doing fine.
And then I did 2 years of piano, which kind of helped me also kind of know where everything is. And then, believe it or not, I played ice hockey.
Yep.
In Miami?
I was playing ice hocky and roller hockey. I was obsessed with hockey.
Is that legal?
Yeah, that's legal.
Yeah,
I never saw hockey in Miami.
And I remember one day we were leaving hockey practice in the morning, and there was this is like 1995, and there was a guy in a convertible, and he was blasting Basket Case by Green Day, and I was like, "Ooh, what is this? I've never heard anything like this. I need to figure this out."
Right.
And I went home. My father had a acoustic guitar that was just sitting there, never got used. And I picked it up. I learned like every song on the Dookie album until like my fingers were almost bleeding.
Did you really?
And then the rest of the guys from my hockey team, believe it or not, it's almost like something like a story out of a movie. Like we were all like neighbors. We played hockey, and then everyone picked up an instrument, and then we started a band. Like,
oh, that's how the band came about.
That's how the band came about.
I'll be darned.
Everybody got excited. We kind of all at the same time became obsessed with music.
Did you guys skate on stage, or did you? No.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the creative mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a showbiz
That
guy.
would have been cool.
So it started there, and then what's next steps after the band? Because there was a point in time where between studio and you learning your craft, where did it go?
So my band we took a break. I actually left the band. It was a whole crazy. I could write a book about every part of my journey.
Yeah,
but we took a break. I went to college, and I got exposed to like the dance and electronic scene early on, and I remember I was going out to raves and this and that, and I fell in love with the music.
Yeah.
I learned I got a drum machine. I learned how to produce, and I got turntables. I was DJing.
Let me stop you right there. He's got the coolest DJ name. If you take the letter 8 and then put O-N after it, you've got...
Aton.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't figure that out right away. That's
Crazy.
You should see our license plate. It's amazing.
Oh.
Anyways, go ahead.
I swear, I've known you forever. I just got it
So
today.
funny. Yeah, so
That's kind of cool. Isn't it, Changor? You're a dance guy.
Yeah, so around that time, so I was in college, and I right away went to like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I was kind of like, that was the safety. You always got to do, college, make everybody happy. And also, I think it's important, to get, I actually enjoyed college.
Yeah, I did too.
But I immediately started working, and I was trying to get gigs everywhere around town. I got a job at the local music store also. It was a popular music store at the time, and they were selling clothes, music, and they had piercings, everything. So I was working the music side, and there was like vinyl. The whole wall was vinyl, and like they were selling CDs, everything. And I had my mixtape playing all day in the store, over and over and over again in the store. And then people started buying. I remember selling the mixtape out of there, and before you know it, I had a following around town, and I would go out every night working anywhere I can to get fans, to get gigs.
Nice.
And then that eventually led me to DJing at like Ultra Music Festival a couple years in a row. And then I started throwing events downtown. So
what years are these about?
This is early 2000s.
Okay.
So I was throwing events downtown, and all the other clubs are like, "Oh, you're doing a great job promoting your night. Can you promote our nights?" And I started a promotional street team. So I had people on every corner, and then I became the regional manager of promotions for Ultra Music Festival around that time. So I had I remember 50,000 flyers would show up at my doorstep, and I had street teams all over town. I was doing like everything possible to survive off of music, because one thing wasn't enough to pay the bills.
Right.
At the time, and then I ended up. My band ends up regrouping also. So I was doing the band, we'd be on tour, I would be making calls, flying in DJs and stuff. Somebody would be back home collecting door money for me. It was like nonstop.
Amazing.
And then around that time, I always had a love for pop music. And I remember I used to write songs and they wouldn't work for my band. So I started producing and writing, and I met this guy in Orlando, Mike Molina, and we started a production team called The Agency at the time. And believe it or not, ironically, Mike Herron was the first person that I placed. My first major placement was Atlantic Records. It was 2006, and we sold our first beat to Mike Herron at Atlantic Records.
That's almost freaky.
Which is crazy, yeah. It's just crazy to think about that.
Who knew?
Who knew, yeah.
Aton works with Mike Herron now in this really elevated position, which we'll get to in a second. But so tell me if you think this is a true statement. when Dave and I are doing talks, and we're often talking to people much younger than us, we tell them all the time that we will take them to the hole and dunk on them. Meaning, you got to have grind in this game. Like you had grind from day one. One thing wasn't enough. You learned it all, and learning it all elevates you quicker. Right?
Absolutely.
And one thing always informs the other. One day, Chongo and I were going down to see our boys 1500 nothing in Inglewood, and I was telling him, and we were in traffic, right? And I was telling him, man, it doesn't matter that you're in traffic. You got to go, right? So we go down there. They take us on a tour of the school. That's something we'll be talking about in the future. And on the way back, he looks at Chongo, he said, you know why we like Herb? Because Herb will pull up. He'll pull up. He'll say, hey, man, what are you doing? And show up. And it's just one of those things, right? If you're going to get through, you got to be there. You got to give 100%.
Absolutely.
Right? Right. Because,
Yeah,
I mean, your journey is incredible.
It's a full-time job.
It's nonstop.
But when you do it from the heart, no one works harder than you, and no one does a better job. When you really do something from the heart, it's like another level.
That's right.
You can't pay someone to do that kind of work, you know?
That's right.
So
from the position at Ultra, you're doing that. Is that when labels started to notice you, or you started to make your move?
No,
Oh, what happened?
Not at all, actually. So at that point, we sold my first song to Mike Aaron, and then I remember I had a home studio set up at the time, and this whole series of events. Like I said, I could write a book. I'm skipping like so many things.
I bet.
I could write a book about every chapter, but this whole series of events happened, and I ended up taking a big risk at the time and bought what became, now is the most popular studio in Orlando, Plush Recording Studios.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the team over there. By the way, they're big fans of you guys.
Oh, cool.
What's
up?
name?
AJ,
AJ,
Ian,
what's up, buddy?
Lou.
Which Lou? Lou. We do a lot of business with Lou Diaz.
Oh,
so, right.
No, different than
Different
Lou
Lou.
Diaz.
Hey, AJ and Lou, if he gets out of line, let me know.
And Ian, we didn't forget you either. So we're good.
And we can't forget Adam and Ethan. There's a guy Ethan there that is running the place for me, and he's doing an unbelievable job.
Ethan.
He's a future star in this industry.
Ethan, Adam, Team Aton, and we want to come down and see you. By the way, we're going to be in Miami for Amplify Miami. You should be part of that. We'll share with him. We'll tell you about that.
And anyone else I forgot, don't hold me to it.
We got you covered.
Yeah, thanks for all the support that you guys over there are holding it down.
So you still own that, and they run it for you.
Yes.
Nice. So you took this risk. You were how old? 24, 25?
Man, I was 26 at the time.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a big step.
So this is 2007, a year after my first placement with Atlantic. My vision with getting the studio was whenever it wasn't being booked, I could either be writing or producing a song, or I could find local talent and sign people and have them use the rooms.
Yeah.
And so I was able to leverage the studio for different things, as well as use it for writing, producing. And it became like this central hub in Orlando for just the music industry. We started doing industry nights and everything. So I was able to meet, and a lot of big talent comes to Orlando for different things. So that's like the place to go when you go to Orlando. So I was able to leverage a lot of stuff out of there. So anyway, so we started the agency, and we started signing producers and stuff, and we were selling tracks to the labels. And then around that time, I found a young artist and signed. And this is the story of how I get to LA, which is crazy. So I found a young artist, signed and developed her, and kind of the whole thing blew up. I signed her to a management deal and a production deal, and the whole thing blew up. In 3 months, there was like a bidding war.
Wow.
And ended up doing. Yeah.
Is this Avery?
Avery, yeah. And that's actually how I met Dave for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when we started talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that record we did with her.
Amazing.
I love her.
And you killed that mix.
Oh, thanks.
Unbelievable job.
Thanks.
And whoever negotiated your mix fee for
Was
that
brilliant.
she's an amazing dude, man. Whoever that is. I don't think it was me.
It was
me,
you.
actually. So that got you to LA.
Yeah, so we signed a deal with, at the time, Universal Motown.
Sure.
And that gets me to LA. And I was not only the manager, I was also the writer and producer on the project. So immediately I get to the ground in LA, and I start we're doing sessions, 8 months of sessions with it was a hot project too.
Wow. No better exposure.
Yeah, so around that time, I already had, thank God, some great contacts, but it was different when you're actually in the room with these people. And so I got to meet a lot of new writers and producers, and really quickly got like into the scene in LA within like an 8-month period.
Chris Anacute was the A&R on that,
yes,
wasn't he?
Shout out to Chris Anacute, dear friend of mine, unbelievable person, and at the time gave me a shot. I was a new manager at the time.
Right.
So Chris and Sylvia Rohn, they gave me a real shot at the time. So it takes to partner up with a new manager at the time. It's a big risk.
And what you guys are hearing is literally a primer on how you can go from your local scene. You can change and change some of the circumstance, and find yourself not only happening in your local scene, but potentially a shot in a bigger scene if you want. So if you think about it, if he never came out here, he probably had a pretty ongoing enterprise that was working pretty well. So it's hustle, it's vision, it's multitasking, it's being interested in all of it, and making yourself better, correct? I mean, you were creative, you were a businessman, you had to do the vision thing, you were in the street grinding, you were DJing, all of it.
Absolutely, and it's amazing. Like years later, you realize you can connect all the dots. And I was like, if I hadn't done this with my band, I wouldn't know what it's like for this to happen on tour, and 100%. It goes wrong, or I wouldn't be able to relate to the artist the same way, or if I hadn't gone to the studio or learned how to engineer or stuff like or produce, I wouldn't be able to give this kind of. It's all kind of now everything like mixes together to all be able to utilize everything.
Who plucked you in the record world out here? Who grabbed you and said you should think about coming inside?
So after 8 months of doing this project, and this is another trial and tribulation story in the industry. 2.5 years on this project, and then all of a sudden Sylvia Rohn leaves Motown, and this whole huge shift in the industry happens, and there's 40 artists that got dropped, and it was like a whole thing. And I saw that project, it's like somebody pulled a rug from under us. I spent 2 years on the project, so I'm like, what do I do now? And right around that time, Mike Karen becomes global president of A&R for Warner Music Group.
Yep.
And we took a meeting, and we're like, let's do like a trial thing, and we did like a 3-month trial, and thank God, like everything clicked, and it's been an unbelievable journey.
So, take me through a typical day in your life, but let's make the typical day when you were working on Talk Dirty, Jason Derulo.
Okay.
And when I saw you when you were working on that, you were a little stressed. So take me to a typical day working on an album of that magnitude. So you wake up in the morning. What time do you wake up?
It's completely different every time. I would say.
So when you go to bed?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on my schedule kind of shifts. Oh wow, awesome! I love it. Yeah. You guys are prepared.
Yeah, we're a TV show.
So it's definitely that's what I love about this. It's different every day. My job is
Do you stay at the studio? Do you stay at the office?
I sometimes have morning breakfast meetings. Sometimes I go straight. But now the nice thing, and this is where it's a very unique situation I have over there, is I'm actually in a remote location in Hollywood. So I'm in another building with my team there, and we have 4 studios on my floor. So I take 10 steps out of my office, I'm in the studio.
Nice.
And I have an amazing team also, and between all of us, we're booking sessions, constant sessions. And the nice thing is you get to know the writers and producers and what their strengths and weaknesses are when you're in the studio with them too.
Yeah.
Some writers, for example, could be great at melody, and others could be great at lyrics, and you kind of pair them up, who to pair up with who to make like the best thing possible. Also, I collect instrumentals. So I have I think just because of the way we're set up, we have more of a use for instrumentals, I think, than most companies. We just have constant sessions, and I would say most of the time we're bringing in people to write to the instrumentals.
Oh, really?
Gotcha. Do you have sorry, Herb.
Oh, good.
Do you have a staff that does nothing but trolls the internet like SoundCloud and Hype Machine, those kind of places, looking for instrumentals and looking for product for you? Or
there's definitely. I mean, we do everything and anything to find talent and new up-and-coming producers and writers. There are research guys that they don't really get into the actually A&R process, but they just sit there all day and research. Like they've tried to find trends early on, and if something's like spiking, they try to find it and like send it over to us and kind of. But I mean, and sometimes it'll come like through even an intern.
Sure.
However, I don't leave any stone unturned.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. So. Because in that process, and again for our audience, for most people, it's a mystery on how to get on your radar. They don't realize how much you're looking.
Absolutely. I mean, my job is to find something great. I mean, that's it. So it's like no matter where it comes from, every single email that comes into my inbox gets listened to. The question is, it's physically impossible for me to listen to everything. That's I get about 100 songs a day between songs and instrumentals, and 500 emails a day. So the people that I know or that consistently send me like good stuff, it gets listened to by me personally.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I won't listen to unsolicited stuff. Sometimes I do, actually. It just depends on the day. But if I'm trying to get through emails, I'll forward it to my trusted A&Rs.
It feels like the more things change, the more they stay the same. It feels like in the 60s, A&R people would look for lines around a club, look for clubs that were full every week with the same band, and the thought was that if they can draw an audience small, they can draw an audience large. Do you look for potential signees that have real high counts on, say, YouTube or SoundCloud, and what would a cutoff number be for you to consider them for SoundCloud, say?
Funny, I always tell the story that there was an artist that came in with huge social numbers, but did not have good music, and we didn't do the deal.
Yep.
There was another artist that came in that it was a band that didn't even have a band name, but they had a great song.
Yeah.
So they didn't even have a band name.
Wow.
They had a great song, and we signed them on the spot.
Exactly.
Because people forget it's the music industry.
That rule never changes.
Yeah, the music is the most important part of everything. And there's so many talented people with great voices out there, and every now and then you'll find this prodigy that's like young and like explosive, like that's like they're like touched by God. Right. Those people, okay, maybe you sign, develop with no songs, but it's very, very rare that we sign something that doesn't have any great songs attached to it. Because I mean, for multiple reasons, you could end up in the studio, you could sign it, end up in the studio, recording, and then you might not find that song, or might not sound good to them, or maybe you find the song and they don't like it, and they won't. So and it's also like it kind of sets the tone for the project and the direction. And it's like if I go to let's say I just signed a new artist, has no songs, and I go to a superstar writer, producer, one of the guys we work with, and I'm like, yo, we just signed this new artist. They're like, okay, great, you got to work with them. Can I hear the music? No, but trust me, they're really good. They're like, no, that's okay. I got a Rihanna session, but
exactly.
But if I play them a song that's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Who is this? They're going to be big. I got to get in with them. It's like the one or two songs could really, and it's also important to get the building excited. It gets everybody. I also value. I'm not a one-man team. I value every department, and I see everything's important. So if I'm the only person that likes something and nobody else is excited, it's a problem. So.
So along that line, then let me see if these are rules that make sense to our audience. Ultimately, what's going to get you through is a great song. First and foremost, if you're not a great songwriter, collaborate with one, work with one, get with one, figure out how to be involved in a great song. What's going to make him pay attention, and this is the thing about majors, because there's a lot of indie folks out there who think majors are like the devil and all that kind of stuff. I think that's not necessarily the most mature and graduated position. They're looking for things, and their job is to find things that are great. It's very expensive to have records work at the level that you do them, and those records, when they're great, blow up. Last week we had the co-writer of Despacito on, and between the streams and the other things and what Justin Bieber did, it's just amazing. So I'm not sure why that's necessarily a bad thing to have that kind of level of success.
Well, one more thing I should add is regarding the numbers. The numbers are important. I mean, because it's real research. That's the beauty of the world we have today. I don't ignore numbers. But obviously the numbers without the music doesn't help. The numbers is the icing on the cake. You gotta have the cake. You don't want the icing with no cake. You gotta have the cake, and then the icing is like that solidifies. Like, okay, there's real people. That's the beauty of everything now. You could see, you got real time results immediately when a song can come out in 2 days. You could see reactions and everything, or lack thereof, and you really can make it it actually solidifies and it raises the profile. And also an artist that has no following is not going to get as big of a, they don't have as much leverage as an artist that's like starting from scratch, so that's also going to affect the type of deal you have. If you can build a fan base and then you're already proven, it raises your value.
What's the importance Am I cutting you off every time? I'm so sorry. What's the importance of playlists in today's world? It feels like playlists are almost as important, maybe more important than radio right now.
It's amazing how much things are evolving and changing. Like even every month, because these playlists just get more subscribers. You know, I mean, radio still drives the consumer as well. You can't ignore either. I think that everything's important. I think the playlisting is important. The radio is important. That's another thing. But these playlist things, I mean, it's so amazing. I mean, how they can get the research back right away. I mean, they see like the New Music Friday, for example. You know, it comes every Friday. They see like the skip rate on every song. Right. When you skip a song, when you hear it up to like 20 seconds and you skip to the next, they see that. Wow. And they have all those analytics.
They provide those metrics to, say, a record company?
You know what? I don't work in that department, but I believe they have limited metrics. But I think actually there's a separate. They give managers, believe it or not, for their artists, even more metrics.
Is there a playlist that's more valuable than others? Like I follow the Viral 50 a lot, and the Viral 100, and the Billboard 100.
What counts?
Rap Caviar.
As far as you mean playlists?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the overall. I mean,
is it mostly Spotify? I guess is a better question, or is it?
I mean, it's all important. I mean, Spotify is easier because you have all the numbers right there. Sure. You can see. Sure.
But you basically have to look over everything and kind of, or as much as you can, and then make a general conclusion.
Yeah, and they kind of, you know, they'll test it in smaller playlists sometimes and see how it does in those playlists, and then they can move it up based on like the skip rate, then move it higher in the playlist.
And that catches your attention, doesn't it?
I mean, it's you could see. I mean, you could, and then they test those small ones, they'll add it to other ones, and if it keeps going, they have a whole system there.
There's a science to it.
There's a science to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I mean, and it's also, you know, an update. You know, we've got a record veteran in the audience, Pat Shields, who used to be at Warner Brothers. And there were scientists back during when we were doing that and watching the science evolve.
I got a trick question.
Okay. Ask.
So playlists are so important. So it would seem to me that a mix engineer would have a special importance in making that particular song sound better, louder, more cooler than the next one that's coming after it, so it could move up the playlist a little easier.
Well, I have an interest. I read an interesting article 2 weeks ago.
The one I wrote?
I don't know. I didn't write one.
Easy.
Maybe. Maybe
It's possible.
But it was about that. It was something around. I think that Spotify just adjusted their dB level.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, I hate it, but we learned to work around them.
Yeah,
it's a little battle we fought. We did. They're trying to make
they leveled it out, right?
Yeah. Well, what they're trying to do is we can all make things sound louder.
Right.
So they used to use actual volume to make everything sound the same volume because they want to give the listener a good experience. But now we have apparent volume, so the robots come in and figure out what the perceived volume is and lower it. So technically, Celine Dion could have louder records than Drake because it's the apparent level. And sometimes they use an average of the entire track, so you want to try and put soft intros and soft bridges, and that'll get you louder than other people. They actually do a really good job of it and give the listener a good experience. But as mix engineers, our job is to find ways around that and get the loudest thing on there.
Gotcha.
Louder's always better.
So, all right. So we know in the process creatively between judging mixes, matchmaking for songs, putting songwriters with artists, making a determination even on what you're going to sign, the priority level of that, making sure budgets are watched. There's a whole process to this thing. You're getting research in from other places on projects that are already out.
Yep.
Like A&R people, what a lot of folks don't understand is that's kind of the glue between the artist and the record company. It's who the artist gets to know first, it's who the manager spend time with. Like it becomes a real relationship, doesn't it?
100%. I mean, you're with the artists also in like their most intimate moment when they're writing the song or when they're creating, and when they're it's an amazing process to be a part of. And every artist is different. Some of them like more support and are more open to it. Some of them are not.
Yep.
It's like it just depends.
Left alone
But I tell you, the smart ones, in my opinion, are the ones that don't leave any stone unturned. Like they listen, because as an artist, you want the best song no matter where it comes from. And you never know where the song's going to come from. You know, sometimes you write it, great. Sometimes you co-write, great. Sometimes you don't write it. So it's, some of the biggest artists in the world that all of you guys know. Yeah.
Yes.
Or, they're amazing writers, and then there's that like 1 or 2 songs that you didn't even know that was handed to them.
That's right.
But you can write a part of it. The chorus is the most important part of the song.
Mm-hmm. Period.
So it really, you're looking for good hooks. You could always rewrite verses and stuff.
I used to tell, in my management days, I used to tell artists, I need your input. Being disconnected from the process is you're right, but I don't know if that's helpful to you. Because if you want to be engaged and don't want things to happen for you or to you, you need to be involved. And the more you learn the parts of this company is essentially trying to market and promote you, and you should know these people, have these people care about you, because they have decisions to make. Like, it's, passion really helps and can make the difference between somebody they like and somebody who is more disconnected. Like, this is an engagement kind of exercise. You agree?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, like Aton said, you have to get the building excited, and if your artist isn't on board with that, it can be a really
yeah.
Let me ask you something. You were talking about writers. One of the things that I was talking with Herb earlier about that I think is a fascinating thing and a good thing is how many writers end up on a song. In terms of your particular self, how do you handle and what are you trying to get from multiple writers? Do you have a writer that just is good at bridges, one's good at melodies, you mentioned that, one's good at lyrics? How many writers do you usually need on a song, and do you support that idea?
Every song is different.
Yeah.
There's not, and every one of my hits came together in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So for Talk Dirty, for example, we had the instrumental, and then we had like.
That was Ricky Reed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it was flipped from a sample that my buddy Miles actually found from APG overseas, and we had this cool beat, and it was sitting for months, and we were trying to figure out what to do. We knew there was a crazy beat, but we didn't know like how to nail it. So we had like, we were booking constant writing sessions. We had like 5 or 6 people write to that track. I even have a version with Jason on it from the day before.
Really?
Over that same instrumental that's not a hit, a different song.
Wow.
Not a hit. But it's all like, one thing I noticed from that version was that like he was trying to sing over the horns in the previous version. So I told him, I said, let's try. We went in the next day. I'm like, let's try not singing over the horns and making it like a drop, treating it like a drop. Maybe say something clever and let the horns breathe, because that in itself feels like a hook, And
that was the hook for me.
Yeah.
That horn sample was like.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but it still needed to be executed, So Talk Dirty is a great lyric. Talk Dirty to me, and it was just it kind of goes with it all kind of worked.
Come together.
And we came back a couple times after that to maybe tweak a couple lyrics in the verses, and like wrote the bridge on a different day. But it was done probably in like 3 days. But before that, there was like a bunch of different versions of that song written, And then a song like My House was completely different. Like the writer Ross Golan, sent it to me to my email, and it was
there.
It was there.
Yeah.
Flo helped. He wrote a couple other things to kind of make it his own and tweaked a couple things, and specifically the bridge. But it really, that's a completely different way the song came together.
Exactly.
So I think that's the exciting thing. Every song is different. Every day is different.
Yeah.
Every artist is different. That's what I love.
And you get paid well. And one of the things that's a secret that he doesn't even know is that part of what Jason's hit came from is that we get our hair cut at the same place. Yeah, and he was in the barbershop talking about it, and I gave him a little pointer or two. And Docky, when you see Jason, tell him Docky, and he'll understand. Docky shaved a little line in this way, and then he went out, and boom, it was a smash afterwards.
You have that touch.
I do have that touch, man. I just try to apply it where I can.
Let me ask you something, if something's true. My wife is a big fan of Smule, and she said that Jason went on there to sing with different people some of his songs. Is that true?
If it is, I don't know.
I think it's cool as heck if it is.
It sounds like he would do that.
Yeah,
Jason's a good guy.
It's for you that don't know, it's a karaoke site, and it's really cool. There are some artists that do that, and they use it. They got over 1 million people there, so they use it as a way to break singles and stuff.
John Gore, you got a couple questions for our guests?
We do. We got some good ones. Okay. This first was from James Hammond. Without naming names, what is the most unique and what is the worst place you've received a demo?
Wow. Wow, that takes thought.
That's yeah.
What is the
Damn,
most
we got a
unique
good
and what is
audience.
the worst place I received a
That
demo?
he's received it physically? Is that what?
Or been pitched on music.
Oh, probably in the bathroom. I mean, we get hit. People will come up to you
trying
in
to
the
think.
craziest places.
That takes thought. I got to think about this one.
Well, I just keynoted a thing with the interns, and so I'm doing my thing. They're great. They're brilliant guys. And then there's a Q&A period afterwards. This guy gets up in a suit, and he's my age. And he has absolutely taken over the mic and said, no, I have got hits for Rihanna. I'm not leaving here till you tell me that you will get these hits to me. And he just posts up. And he just lokes up like nobody else in line's gonna. We had to talk him off the ledge and move him on before it got
That's your
physical.
gift too,
Well, but people lose sight of the etiquette of getting, like, if you're gonna get your attention, I can't turn you off to get your
100%.
attention.
So sorry. I think I have a couple of ideas just from hearing your story.
Yeah.
I would say, I've gotten definitely some unique submissions. I'll show up to my office. One time there was like an iPod with a pair of headphones. That was the only thing on the iPod was the music, and it was like listen to the. I've gotten like, champagne bottles, all types of like crazy creative stuff to the office when I show up. And then another thing that happened was this actually happened a couple months ago. Somebody actually, lied about who they were. They said there was a new artist that we recently signed at a group.
Yeah.
And they said they were part of the group.
Oh my God.
And they snuck up to the building.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so nice to meet you. Finally, have this whole conversation with this guy. And then realize, security comes up, that's not the guy he says he is. And it was like something, it was like.
Scary.
Yeah. And
Because he had different intentions.
He left a demo and he left and then I was like.
Did you listen to it?
Hell no.
Don't say yes.
The rules.
Yeah, don't say yes.
No, I had a guy stalk me once at a record company, and I'd passed on his demo, and so he just decided to wait on me in the parking lot. And I came out, and he rolled up on me and said, hey, man, and he wanted to have a dissertation about how I treated it that way. And I was completely nice, but it was his chance to break through, and he just didn't understand and so, at that point in time, you're like, where's this going to go? Like, do I have to, be prepared? It can be pretty scary.
From my proximity to the labels, it always feels like a great, unique, great song will find a way to get its own listeners.
It's the stuff that's not good.
You don't have to work that hard because the record companies can't make money at any level without great songs. So they want a great song, and if you've got one, there's always the peripheral people that feed to guys like him, that you'll find one eventually. Don't you think that's true?
100%. I mean, if something's great, even with a small audience, it spreads.
Yeah.
People share it with their friends. They want to listen to it again.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely.
Chandler, give us another.
This was from our own Talisha Romero.
What did she do?
How does it feel to influence the entire world through your selection of records?
I mean, that's one of the most rewarding things is that you'll be like, you hear a song I worked on, and I'll be in like Israel, and the song's playing in like a club or like a random coffee shop, or I'll be like shopping at like Target or like some random store, and I'll hear like a song, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like I was literally was there for the birth of this song, and was a part of this little vocal right here. I took out this ad lib, and that's why this ad lib is it's like.
Did you ever do this? The first time I had a song on the radio, I pulled up to a traffic light, and the guy next to me was playing it. I rolled down my window. I said, I mixed that song. And he's rolling down and said, what? I'm like, I mixed that song. Turn it down. I mixed that song.
He said, this crazy guy's
I was so proud.
Right.
That's
Have you ever done that?
That's amazing.
Me?
No, I haven't, but it's funny.
I've had a number of those.
That's awesome.
You're ready.
I have inside info.
But you have to.
I psyched him out before the show.
Yeah, but you have to think about his parental background. That's a lot of interesting mixtures and stuff. So he's going to have bat speed.
He's good. I know.
He's going to have bass speed.
That's true.
But he's very subtle about what he does. So I expect you kind of get knocked out of the park. All right, so you ready?
Let's go.
It's gonna be fun. All right, take your thing. You want your turban on?
No.
You sure?
It gave me a headache. It was so tight.
Well, we don't want that to happen. We need your brain to have
There's
as much
people around the
blood as
world
you
that
can.
shrink heads still, aren't there?
Yeah, but these are not these people. So
Okay.
Here we go.
Radio.
Top 40.
Okay. Pop.
He's good, Herb. He's good. He's
Yeah.
fast. Harder to find, a great song or a great artist?
Song.
Streaming.
Playlist.
Kiss FM or Z100?
Both.
Ah, smart. Smart. That's a
Radio
record guy.
politics.
Yes, indeed.
Vinyl.
33 and a third. Is that 33 and a third?
That's very good.
Studios.
Plush.
Ah,
Budgets.
shrinking.
Recording.
Yeah.
Demos.
New artist.
This is a question we ask every week. If your office caught fire, which executive would you rescue first? No, that's not it. That's not
Yes, it is.
No, I can't. He's my friend. I can't put him on the spot. I just want to be
I would
funny.
give my life to save the team.
Very good. Very good.
I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Politically correct. Senior executives become senior executives for a reason. That's exactly right. It's pretty amazing to have that kind of look for our audience, because they just don't necessarily
For me,
understand.
really, too, because it's different.
Well, it changes,
Yeah.
and it's why, ultimately with the show, and particularly in the different, where you have your feet planted, you have a management firm that's got producers and songwriters. This is their audience. This is the place for them. So when somebody's hot, call us. We want them on. We have, like with the Indaba contest we're talking about, that's 1 million some odd songwriters and producers called Indaba Music.
insane.
It's run by some ex-Sony executives. Amazing.
Where is that?
Amazing company. They're based out of New York. Amazing company. So what we have found, and we've had a number of publishers talk to us, because oftentimes you guys find yourself not be able to market that songwriter that's hot or that producer that's hot. They sort of become affiliate to the act or the record. They have a lot more going on. Showcasing, looking for things, looking for songs. Use us. I'm just saying, we can help show you how to use us. Your trajectory has been amazing. The cool part about what you've done is that you just haven't changed who you are. Like, you're doing it for all the right reasons.
I would say if you have success and you change as a person, like, to me, in my eyes, that's like failing my mission.
Yeah.
Personally, like, I feel like the most important thing is who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And one thing about, both of you are, no matter all the success you have, you're so down to earth and genuine. Dave is just like the sweetest, kindest soul, and like
Thank you.
an incredible
Till you cross
person.
him.
That's more important than everything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We got some stuff coming up, in particular our award show. We have to get him involved.
Oh, absolutely.
And he needs to be a presenter at it. We'll tell you about all that. Dave, take us home.
Man, inspirational sitting in front of Aton. Also made me realize I've been a little lazy about my career. I only did one thing.
No.
Wow. And
Everyone's got a path. Everyone's got a path.
You've done all right.
and I got an inside spy over there. Orlando Johnson works over there, and he had nothing but great things to say about how he treats the entry level people and the people at the top. And I think that's
says it
we need more executives like him. The industry would be reaching the heights that they deserve and want if we had more Atons. Another thing too, Herb always talks about this. There's a lot of different professions in music that you guys should check out. Everybody doesn't have to be a mixer. He's still a mixer. He's still an engineer, but he's doing it differently. It's hard to talk to him.
That fits him so well.
You look like you could be from northern India, more Rob, right? Not southern India.
It looks
You look
authentic.
like more northern.
Say goodbye.
I'll finish this next week. See you guys.
See you.